Born and raised in Packwood, Iowa. Lived there all my life. Went to college at the University of Northern Iowa. Hurried through college to come back to the family business. Started out washing trucks, mowing yards, and now president of the company. My grandfather started the business in 1959, and my parents, they built their home right next to the business. So as a kid, instead of swing sets, I had semis for my playground. Started out with gas stations, and then he bought a few trucks to haul fuel to his gas stations and then hauled fuel for other customers, and that's kind of how the business started. My father, my Uncle Dan, and Uncle Doug and Aunt Deb joined the business in the 70s, and in the 70s is when they started hauling refrigerated product. In the 80s, they expanded our operation to about the size where we are today, and we're very fortunate to make it through some difficult times. In the 90s, after I graduated from college, I joined the business, and I was very fortunate to have 4 others of my cousins from the 3rd generation that did the same. I'm very blessed to have a 60-year-old family-ran business with very little drama, inside of the structure. And I think that speaks volumes for the respect that our entire family has for each other and for the operation. The dynamics of our company, I think, fit and have worked well for so many years just because everybody has a place that fits their talents. I'm a pretty strong type A personality, and I'm not able to complete a task as fast as I'd like, or not able to cross something off the list. I can get a little irritated, but fortunately trucking is pretty fast paced, so that's never been an issue. However, the legislative process is much slower, and that has been a bit of a challenge for me to get a little more accustomed to. I never felt like I needed motivated to come to work. I recall quitting baseball or not going out for baseball in junior high because I figured out how much time and money I'd lose with all the practices and the games. And then in college, I never went on spring break because I could come back to work that week. And it wasn't about the money aspect, but it was just being around the business. It never felt like it was you needed external motivation to do a good job. And I suppose over the years, as my responsibilities have changed, my desire to not let the family or our employees down has probably been maybe a little more of a motivation than I had initially. The issues that our industry is facing this year are nothing new. Shortage of labor, insane lawsuits, skyrocketing insurance costs, skyrocketing equipment costs, fuel costs. However, my biggest concern in today's environment is loyalty. 5 to 10 years ago, it felt like there was much more loyalty in our industry. Today, it feels like you could lose a particular load or a lane with a customer over a penny per mile rate, a load that you may have hauled hundreds or thousands of times last year with a great rating. Same with drivers. If we would stop the sign-on bonuses, stop the poaching, I believe our industry, for everybody, for the drivers and the companies themselves, would be much better off. The next thing that bothers me is how our drivers are treated on the road at a lot of our shipper locations. Some of these locations just treat them like they're dogs. Won't let them use a restroom, won't bother to tell them when their load's done. When they want to complain if the driver's late, but don't understand maybe some of the circumstances as to why they were late. And our industry, I think, needs to educate the shippers to let them know how much they can help with our driver shortage situation, which in effect is directly in relation to their supply chain issues. One of the blessings of being a family-ran business, especially a small family-ran business, is there's less need to drive everyone to be successful or to do a good job. And at Dickey Transport, one of the things I think makes us successful is there's a greater platform for ownership among more people. And again, when that happens, there's less need to motivate individuals and a greater desire for everyone to be successful. It means a lot to be the first 3rd generation chairman of this association. The last 4 or 5 years of Grandpa's life, he was pretty confined to his house, and I remember spending hours with him talking about friendships and memories he had with this association and developed over the years. This will be my 30th convention. My first convention I attended when I was a freshman at the University of Northern Iowa because the convention was in Waterloo that year. And thinking 6 or 7 years later, I was watching my father stand on this stage as he became chairman, and the pride that I had in watching him that evening. I still remember back then thinking about the thoughts that he would have had 20 years earlier as he watched his father have the same role. But so many great leaders in our association. You walk through the hallways of IMTA and you see all the pictures. true pioneers of our industry in the state of Iowa. And to be the first third-generation leader is very special to me. The motivation to be involved in Iowa Motor Truck, every chairman's probably had the same answer. As I was looking through some of Dad's files, I came across the file when he was chairman in '99, and his answer was probably the same as about every chairman before him, and probably been about the same answer as every chairman after him, and that's Iowa Motor Truck has always been the voice of our industry, and that's so true. However, I see it so much differently now in the last couple of years anyway. What this association does for us in the Capitol is immeasurable. I see their presence every single day. I can't imagine what our business climate would be like without Iowa Motor Truck's presence. I can't imagine what our tax climate, our regulatory climate, I can't imagine what our relationship with the DOT would be without our association. The desire to continue that presence is the only motivation that I need. I think it's the only motivation that any of us need to stay active involved in our association. If I could accomplish one thing outside of tort reform, would it be improve our shipper relations between shippers and carriers, to put material together, to distribute to the manufacturing associations, the ABI, to educate them how they can help us with our driver turnover issue, and that helps them with their supply chains issues. What little effort they had to put forward that makes such a different impact on our drivers and our association and our industry. One of the good things that came out of COVID was not only our drivers but our industry received respect that we had earned decades ago, and it feels like that quickly is eroded away, and our industry needs to be more proud about what we do, and without us, this economy, this country does stop. So just more respect for our industry would be something I hope that I can say that I accomplished a year from now. I suppose I'd like to be remembered as someone that never wasted an hour in a day, never wasted a day in a year. Someone that made a real difference in donating time to other groups, other causes. Someone that never wasted time in doing anything when there's so many things that need to be done. I can't thank this association enough for instilling their trust in me to lead this great association, and for being the first third-generation chairman. It does mean a lot. It does mean a lot. It's a role and responsibility that I don't take lightly, and to be trusted at that level, it's very humbling. I hope to lead this association in a manner that makes everybody proud a year from now, and as a chairman that's reflected upon as someone who made a real difference or a change in our industry, not just a placeholder. So thank you for your confidence, and hope to make everybody proud.